So our next reader is going to be Preeti Vangani. Preeti grew up in Mumbai, India, and is the author of Mother Tongue Apologize, which was published by RLFPA Editions in 2019. She was selected as the winner of the RL Poetry Prize. Her work has appeared in Three Penny Review, Gulf Coast, Hobart, amongst many other journals, and has been supported by UCross, Degerasi, and California Center for Innovation. She is the recipient of the 2022 Penn Robert J. Dow Short Story Prize for Emerging Writers. An alumni of the program, she teaches at the MFA program at University of San Francisco. Preeti is currently working on a manuscript of poems and a collection of short stories.
First of all, I love this kind of mic because it makes me believe that I'm a jazz singer. I'm not even a bathroom singer. I mean, I'm really bad. Shout out to everyone, all of the Grotto members, but especially Roberto, Sarah, Susan, JD, for all your efforts for putting Rooted and Written together. Had it not been for Rooted and Written, I would not be here. This is how I got introduced to the Grotto in 2019. And I told the class I taught this morning, and I'll repeat the same thing. Please find your people. This is how we grow. I came to San Francisco not knowing anybody at all, no family, no friends. And most of my friends have emerged from spaces like these. So make sure you find your people. My first project was Mother Tongue Apologize, which I wrote for my mother. I lost my mother when she was very young. I was 21, my mother was 42 when she passed away. And this second book it also looks at grief, but it looks at grief more from the point of view of diving into familiar relationships and how those relationships change or take on new shapes in the aftermath of grief, but also how grief ages. So my first book is just like the pan is really hot and grief is very immediate, but this is more like the pickled and aged grief. So this first poem is Sayu Patata, which is sweet vermicelli and spicy potatoes, and it's a breakfast that we often eat in my house. Sweet vermicelli, spicy potatoes. Amma is my paternal grandmother, and Mummy is obviously my mother, and Shah Rukh Khan is the king of Bollywood and the king of my heart. Those are the characters. Alright, sweet vermicelli, spicy potatoes. Although both her replaced knees were past their shelf life, Amma insisted to be put on a tall wooden stool to cook roasted vermicelli in sweetened milk, the kadhai bubbling on back burner, blistering spicy potatoes, while I prostrated myself before Shah Rukh Khan. The king of romance on TV, knowing Mummy, my tomboy mummy, was in the kitchen too, and often Amma's slotted ladle that she stirred light as a wand within the oil's hot rivers lest cubed potatoes crack, would, if my mother's amateur hands went overboard with salt or chili, for instance, become not something Amma utilized but was armed with. This was more than seldom and normal. As normal as Shah Rukh employing 1,000 names for love where one would do. Pyar, ishq, afnai, ulfat, mohabbat, yari, preet, junoon. So much love on television, sung, danced, professed, so much anger inside the house. Unspoken, chewed up, dissolved into the next sliver of labor. Oh, spit your red out, Amma. Look, SRK is loosening his arms in a Jesus white stance, I wanted to yell. His smoldering smile, even the sunflowers he prances around our pub blushing on TV, I couldn't say. And my mother cradled her palm under Amma's elbow as she wobbled off the stool. Everyone, even Mummy, petty cursed my Amma gone. Then she was gone, much after Mummy though. And in my motherless Sundays, her wrist shivery as jelly, Amma from across the table heaped ladles with seconds, more she'd offer, and I could forgive her. But isn't forgiveness to the living what an elegy is to the unspeaking? No elegy can make my mother scream or whisper or winner. No more, I gestured, stiff-palmed, gaze in bowl. Could Amma recognize it wasn't the food I was refusing? My mother's silence stuck in my throat. I wrote this poem at Community of Writers in Tahoe this summer, where I had the lovely fortune of meeting Yeva, and we traveled to Tahoe together. It was an excellent workshop, and I'm going to urge the poets in this room to check it out. It's wonderful. New Dark. When we are already late for the film, ambling out of the taxi, counting if the driver rendered him his exact change, then dropping the coins back into the driver's hands or the little coin tray with a "Thank you, Bhai Saab," my father darting to the elevator never does not forget to mention that this 14-screen Cineplex that flexes its arms like a concrete eagle, this Cinemax Cyan that we are about to enter, once used to be 3 single screens that shared 2 walls, and the triple theatres were called Badal, Bijli, Barkha. Cloud, light, wind as he presses the 6th button and it glows a weak gold from within. I cannot not imagine him in bell-bottoms and a striped shirt, skipping shop for college, skipping college for a Rajesh Khanna flick. He once told me about an entire summer when still in primary school, constrained with limited stipend, he plotted by the gates with his visiting cousin to buy 1 single ticket. He watched the first half, sneaked out at intermission, debriefed the plot to his cousin, who then slipped in and played back the end of the story. I often cannot not see my father, but in halves. He, as in his entrepreneurial self, knows why 60 theatre-seaters must surrender their piss-scented and pan-stained selves to become a multi-level home of infinite entertainment. This self is of the world. It has no time nor stamina for wrestling with what ceased. This self sees yet unsees the deceased wife. The other half, not exact, imprecise as the moon is most of the time, it lounges in the involuntary outcries of what we choose to remember. Badal, Bijli, Barkha. This self taps its foot to that bilabial sound of B. The half in which I think I hear him call out, B, B, B. He pushes open the door to the film well begun, flitting down the rows, extending his arm for me to follow, and someone is shining a torchlight now. Small and with definite purpose, the light is a moving line. Someone is guiding us to our places in this new dark. I wrote this one in the pandemic, and I live with rheumatoid arthritis. I've had it for the last 15 years, and I'm always thinking about how one grief triggers another. So when, the death toll numbers started ringing in during the pandemic, it was like communal grief, reminding me of personal grief, and that cycle kind of repeating itself. So as like someone living with chronic illness and also just being a hyperventilator by nature, I wrote a poem which is a list of everything that can almost kill me. It almost kills me. Arthritis, its triggers. A damp morning, Fahrenheit drops and rain. Tannins in red wine, Stairmaster climb, hills and hills on heels, gluten, nightshade, hard spirits, not enough steroids, the wrong steroids, stiff neck, sitting cross-legged, the hand therapist affixing a strip of foam around my toothbrush handle, squeezing a nail cutter with opposable thumbs that no longer oppose, my mother aching for God to do his job, clumps of her hair coming off. I did not witness her silken fall. Regrets confusing as side effect pamphlets, breast cancer month and pink bows on children's heads, Jodie Comer on Killing Eve. The woman in the sequin dress on 8th and Market with her rolly backpack whispering to her good poodle, "Ain't no one gonna touch us, baby." Britney then and Britney now. The blues and afternoons my fingers almost don't shake holding the ear of a cup. Amy Winehouse, especially when she says, "When I come back." immigration policy, that it was mummy who got all our passports made, that hers will never have a stamp. The Second Amendment, scent of lemon trees and mountain brie with dried figs on a crispy cracker. Explosion of salt and the fruit's good sugar, its sun on my tongue, this insufficient body, this body well or not, a well of want. The ways you and I not, the word not, as bounty, as in that's not nothing. Forest fires, lightning, my vibrator's fastest setting. As much as I say I'm different from my dad, I'm not. But I think within that angst to be or not be like him, there's a lot of conflict. And this poem is kind of jazz singer, remember? Homage to that. Marlboro Men. Joined at the hip by my mother's death, my father and I fight like cats in heat. To become more mother, I nag him about his smoking. I can still smell the hospital's bleach where his jittering hand steadied her feeding tube. Except I was barely there. I will never question if he employed all his money and mine to save her. He will never ask why I couldn't just leave college for her bedside. Like an expletive withheld, a cigarette stays pressed between his lips and on his mind. Confidence that we are now one marriage, each away from happiness. I populate marriage profiles to find a man least like him and he to land a wife most like mother. We lock horns hunting for midnight nibbles and he is certain I've been sleeping around. I have been sleeping a lot. Under the shroud of my mother's silk dupatta, tonight he's a widower with XXX in his cash. Tonight I'm a two-short skirt numbed by sloppy missionary. To become more mother, he buys me hot breakfast, how he pirouettes his breath to balance the sambar packet, flimsy as a house of cards. Not a drop spills. We never spill a drop of liquid grief, except on the Sunday he yelled, "You never loved her," and I yelled back, "Fuck, go fuck yourself." My virginal F word to him like a punch made of freedom and the spirit that is perhaps still derailing my mother's soul from reaching heaven. Instead of sorry, offers of ice cream swirl between our barely open doors. Instead, he smokes double. Instead, her maiden name, two syllables that could mean she who ran or a rebel. I got them inked on my ankle. Slouched in figure 4 on the pot, that night I nursed my open wound with saline, excavated from my bra my first ever cigarette. Sweaty, limp, coping stick, stolen from my father's drawer. I inhaled, a long inhale, believing the longer I held, the more it would free me, but my throat gave in. I coughed out a big cloud, and the girl she once was at once covered in urban smoke. And I think I'm 8 years on, working with grief. The sentence that I always kind of think of is quite honestly, I'm so tired of the death. And that is exactly how I felt while, trying to finish this manuscript. And I started thinking about the fact that my mother was an extremely funny person, very lighthearted, and just full of beans and humor, playing pranks, throwing surprises. And I wanted to somehow encapsulate that, so I decided to bring her back to life. And I started writing these poems that are in my mother's voice. This is one of them. My gone mother wants me to love myself and says, "So your oldest friend turned out to be a Republican. Isn't it great you two didn't fuck?" "No, you don't look like a puffed up bag of chips in that dress." "Listen, a sparrow cheeps at the kitchen window, short buzz, long trill, the frill of your nightie swishing against mine at nap time. Your skin is so oily, how is America not fracking on your T-zone?" "I'm packing multani mitti in your bag, a walnut scrub, honey with cinnamon, and have you tried praying? God is an easy customer. I wish you said I love you to me as you did to the boys in college. Is this what we gave you freedom for, HPV? Nothing apple cider vinegar can't cure. When your grandmother died, I was back to cooking dinner the same night. Dal, chawal, fulka, crispy aloo, the way your papa likes it. I liked Varun. Why did you leave him? Are you ever happy? You'll find a Mills and Boone in my side drawer. Go to page 71. Page 71. Where's the unicorn you promised me? Asks Miranda. Oh wait, never mind. I can feel it in your trousers. If you don't finish your beer, use it as hair conditioner. If you can't find alcohol, spit on the wound. Marriage means sacrifice. Your father's heart attack is not your fault, and cigarettes are healthy for bad marriages. Take care of your teeth. I found you. I found you on a Thursday in the rain, water gushing in and out of your gumboots. I held you up by the waist and did not let go until I lay you in the room where I sang and waited and sang. Sorry, I fell asleep.